Welcome into the Daily Dish. Jeremy Werner, Joey Wagner. The 2022 NBA draft is in the books. And Illini did not go this year, so we didn't get back-to-back Illini draft picks for the first time since James Augustine, D. Brown, Darren Williams, and Luther Head went 05 and 06. But Illinois does seem to have several NBA draft picks on its roster if you buy into the way too early NBA mock drafts. We always got to remind ourselves Andre Curbelo was on these mock drafts early last year, but it is a sign, I think, especially from a guy like Jonathan Givony, who's so tapped in about who NBA scouts are talking about. And Givony had two players from Illinois on his first two-round mock draft of the year. Coleman Hawkins going pick 48. I believe Terrence Shannon was in the last 10 picks. So two guys right there. I know he's had Matthew Meyer hanging around in mock drafts previously, or no, he had Meyer in his mock draft, not Shannon. NBADraft.net had Terrence Shannon. So excuse me, but that's three guys, Joey, that are in mock drafts from some credible resources, especially Givony having Meyer and Hawkins in there. So who do you think is the top NBA draft prospect on this current Illinois roster?
This is tough. Part of me wants to pick a freshman, but I keep coming back to what Coleman Hawkins did against Keegan Murray, against Ron Harper. I know he's still got to be a little more consistent. He's got to shoot the ball more consistently, but the skills, the potential is there. It's not like he has to make his shot. A shot, the potential to shoot, the ability to shoot exists. You just got to do it consistently. And he's young, he's long. If he can put all of that together, and he should have every opportunity, like that is what NBA scouts are looking for, or people with the length, the versatility, the handles, just has to shoot it more consistently. And I think you can improve on that. Like he's not plateaued as a shooter. I think there's still time to shoot on that. It's him.
I think the way I'll go this way, I think the highest floor guy on this team, which is kind of why I'm shocked he's not in Givony's draft, is Terrence Shannon. I think he's proven the most at this level. And he's exactly what the NBA wants right now. 6'6", long, athletic, can shoot a high percentage from three. I think the only questions about Terrence Shannon right now are health and can he create on his own? But I don't think he's going to be drafted in the NBA to create on his own. I think he's going to be drafted to be that 3-and-D guy who can finish at the rim in transition. So I feel like he's probably the highest floor guy for this year. I think the highest ceiling guy for this year is Coleman Hawkins. Matthew Meyer is a really interesting prospect, has a chance to go in the draft. And certainly Illinois feels that way. Meyer feels that way. He's been to the scouting combine, but Hawkins just oozes that potential, right? I know I keep using the guy, but DJ Wilson, he hasn't really stuck in the league, but he's a guy that was 6'10", showed some signs as a freshman, sophomore that, hey, there's length, athleticism, skill. And then as a junior, he was the fourth leading scorer on Michigan, but he was really impactful in everything he did and was so versatile that he went from kind of an unknown to a first-round draft pick. I'm not saying Hawkins will be that, but I think he has the potential to be that. If he shoots, Joey, 35% from three, if he really asserts himself on defense. So for me, I don't think he needs to be the leading scorer for Illinois, and I don't think that should be his approach. I think his approach should be, I'm going to be an all-league defender, and then I'm going to make open jump shots and take them confidently. If he does that, I think he's got a chance to be in the league next year.
And rebound, show that length gets you rebounds. I came really close. I want to honorable mention Ty Rodgers, because it's everything else about his game except for he hasn't shown it as a shooter. And I know that the coaching staff is going to be working with him to improve that shooting, but he's got a lot, man. He's really tantalizing with his skill set, his energy, his motor, his frame. There's a lot to like about him. My hesitation is I haven't seen him do anything on the floor at a college basketball arena, and that's I'm saying I don't think he's going to, but I've seen Coleman Hawkins do things that you're like, shoot, that looks like what NBA players look like.
Yeah, I felt like a couple months ago, Joey, I was the one like, hey, Ty Rodgers, man, could be the most impactful freshman of this group. And Sky Clark commits, but then he goes to Team USA basketball, and all of a sudden people are like, lottery pick? Is he going to be a first round pick? I just want to be like, okay, maybe we're going a little too far there. I think he's going to be a high impact player at Illinois. But the reason some people weren't buying into Ty Rodgers as a next level prospect potentially was, can he shoot? And he has to show that a little bit, because even if we make a comparison to Jeremy Sohan, who does a lot of great things like Ty Rodgers, Sohan hit 32% of threes at a decently big sample size. So at least you knew he could shoot a little bit. Ty Rodgers still needs to prove that. Maybe he does this year, Joey, and we're talking about him as a first round draft pick next year. I just got to see it. I do think long term, I think as much as anybody, that's not Meyer, Shannon, Hawkins, I think he's the guy I would go in the NBA, because you saw how Team USA and Tad Boyle, Mike Boynton really thought he was a valuable piece because he knows his role. He plays his role at a high level, and he's not trying to be more than that. He's going to defend. He's going to rebound. He's going to create and distribute. The one question he has is shooting. So we'll see if he can answer those things. But all those other things are so valued, especially when the player plays as hard and as tough and as smart as Ty Rodgers. So while I'm not quite at, hey, he's going to be a first round pick, one and done next year, I do think he's got a very bright future and an NBA future.
Can we just say, Jeremy, we just named like 4 guys, and I don't feel in my heart like we were reaching or trying to carry water. I feel like those 4 guys are very real. This program is at a different place.
Well, let's just say this. There have been 2 Illinois basketball players drafted during the last 15 years. And what would we set? Over under 3.5. How many Illinois players get drafted from this group?
Get drafted?
Yeah, just get drafted. Like, I don't think all of those guys we just listed are getting drafted.
Right.
But I think there's a pretty good chance a couple of them do.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough.
If I went 2.5, I'd probably go over. 3.5, got to start thinking about a little bit. Because what if Sky Clark turns into what we think Sky Clark can be? Shannon and Hawkins and Meyer got a decent chance. Rodgers got a decent chance. Not all of them will work out that way, of course. Look at Curbelo last year, but that just shows like they're going to have more than 2 draft picks on this current roster. They've had 2 in the last 15 years.
Yeah, and I was also saying, that's not saying they're going to have 2 draft picks next draft. Just over the course of the next 3 or 4, yeah, it's a different level of talent, Jeremy. It's just a different level of talent, and this coaching staff has done a good job also in just understanding what, like, next level talent. These aren't guys who are just so, like, Io was just so good that obviously, but like there's a lot of these guys that just fit what the NBA looks for. Coleman Hawkins.
Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about. Is some of the things that have held Illinois back are simply measurables. Like Malcolm Hill was not fast enough, athletic enough. Trent Frazier was too small. Kofi Coburn still can make the NBA, but he's just not what the NBA is looking for in a big man. Like Shannon, Meyer, Hawkins are what the NBA is looking for. If Danger can turn himself into Trevion Williams, which is like best case scenario, right? So I'm not going to project he gets drafted. RJ Melendez, long, athletic, skilled. Ty Rodgers, we just talked about. Apps is small. That's going to be overcome. Clark is going to have to shoot it at a high level. But even a guy like Zachary Barron, who they just add, Joey, 6'10", mobile big man, that's what they're looking for. So Brad Underwood is starting to recruit a roster that the NBA is interested in. That's the main point.
It's impressive. It's really, really impressive.
All right, we will cover it all and see who else Illinois can add to the fold right here at Illini Inquirer.